And my role in all of this injury piece that they're talking about and with the athletic trainers is really around returning students to school and not just play. And so one of the things we have in place in our state, unlike all but one other state, is we have what we call the Oregon TBI teams. And I oversee those teams for the state. And what we have is a group of over 400 people who are trained to assist students who've been injured, not just on the athletic fields, but car crashes, any other kind of accidents, in returning to the school setting, and not just the classroom, but the entire school setting, which can be very challenging for a student who has a brain injury or an injury of some kind. We also work closely with many experts in the state as part of the Oregon Concussion Management Program. We also call it OCAMP for short. Dr. Keister is on that team as well, and we focus on helping students return to play and return to school. So one of the things I wanted to touch on briefly is across the nation we have this buzzword kind of thing happening around return to learn, and we have many states passing legislation requiring schools to have processes for returning students who've been concussed to the classroom settings. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what that is and give folks some information. So really, the Oregon TBI teams and OCAMP and folks across the nation are identifying return to learn as more of a process where we have a step-by-step systematic approach for screening to see if students on and off the field have received concussions. Our athletic trainers do a fantastic job of catching our students who have sports injuries, but as we know, that's a small percentage of the students that are coming back to school with head injuries. And so we're looking at, in return to learn, a process for screening these kids and identifying them, and then hopefully putting into place what we in Oregon like to call an ITAP, an immediate temporary accommodation plan, because we know that we have processes for helping students who have longer term injuries, say the 504 process or the IEP process, but many of the students who receive head injuries, they recover somewhere between, a few weeks to a few months. But within that window of time, they're at great risk for academic failure. And so we're trying to put in place temporary accommodations immediately to intervene in that risk and keep them on what a great trajectory most of them are for college and career readiness, and without allowing them to have that window of failure that just takes them off track. So within return to learn, after that, we're looking at monitoring, because we know while most of the kids get better, not all of them do. And so we need to look at that trajectory of recovery and continuously change their accommodation plans to meet them where they're at, as well as monitor them in case they need further assistance. For example, like a 504 plan or an IEP, or looking at when do we drop their immediate accommodations. And so that is really my area of focus within this mix of folks, and there's just a lot happening across the nation in return to learn, and I thought I'd share a little bit of information around that.
No, and that's very helpful. It's kind of funny, when we started this whole concussion issue, we really focused on recognition, getting them off the field, and then deciding when they were going to be able to go back to play safely. And then it kind of struck all of us a few years down the road of, hey, they need to go to school.
They go back to the classroom first.
So it's been a little bit behind on this, but I think it's really coming into the force. So it's been a great experience. We also have with us, he didn't get a chair, Mr. Peter Weber, who is the Executive Director of the OSAA, and I can't thank Peter and his staff enough for the support and the respect and the latitude that they give the Sports Medicine Advisory Committee. It's been very helpful. So we're open for questions if there's time.
Any questions? I guess the one that I appreciate, and I can appreciate Mr. Weber including, is that we have many more students that come to our schools every year who have chronic diseases and other kinds of problems, whether it be diabetes or others. And it used to be that parents and others just said, oh, they can just do the classwork and come home. They don't need to be involved in athletics. And we all know that athletics are a big part of training and learning for all kids. And more of those kids are now finding ways to be active participants in athletics. And it is our community of medical people and OSA that acknowledge that they should have that opportunity. And athletic trainers, better than others. When you don't have athletic trainers, it is much harder, being from some of the small schools. But physicians are getting better at trying to figure out ways to accommodate that, to make sure that the coaches and other people around them understand what they should or should not do. And we've had a number of bills here in the last couple of years that deal with some very, very rare kinds of disease and the kinds of interventions that need to happen in schools. And I think we're getting better at helping kids have those experiences. And I know that Senator Mons-Anderson is having the concussion conversation in health where it should be, and I look forward to seeing what she comes out of that. And I appreciate the work that's being done on developing better resources and training for everybody to start identifying concussions, because I believe it's true that we've had a number of kids who have been concussed, and they weren't known at the time, and they didn't necessarily happen at school. I mean, happened on the playground. And it did affect their learning, and no one caught the signs that the reason that they all of a sudden started not doing so well was because their brain wasn't working as well. And hopefully all of this will help make that experience for every kid better. So I thank you. I don't know if there's any other comments, but thanks for being here, and thanks for sharing the information with us. And I appreciated the stuff on athletic trainers. I have a sister-in-law who was an athletic trainer, now she's elementary PE, but she uses those skills in what she does. And she always was frustrated by the fact that you get this degree and then you don't get to participate because most schools aren't hiring athletic trainers. They're getting a little bit better at that, but thank you.
Thank you for the time.